Ikoiwak, senior prosecuting counsel in Akwa Ibom State, drove to meet his in-laws in Ikono. He never returned. Days after, his wife claimed he died of asthma. But an exhumation investigation and autopsy revealed he was tortured and poisoned. The 41-year-old, married to fellow lawyer Abasiesa Abanga, had confronted his wife over alleged infidelity and demanded a paternity test after discovering her teenage son, presented during their marriage, was her younger brother, was actually fathered by a Catholic priest, Reverend Father Maurice Mbeke. Ikoiwak had also uncovered alleged affairs and demanded answers. Instead, he was summoned by in-laws and later found dead. His wife claimed he died in a hospital, producing a death certificate. But investigators found evidence of poisoning with the use of otapiapia, the rat killing poison, bruises and restraint marks on his wrists and legs. Probes uncovered a chilling conspiracy. Ikoiwak was allegedly beaten, tied and poisoned by his in-laws. His wife remained in Calabar in constant contact with her mother, siblings and Father Mbeke. Father Mbeke allegedly contacted another priest, Father Gabriel Ekong, who arranged a forged death certificate through Dr. Imo Johnson at St. Luke's Hospital. All parties were arrested. In June 2025, the court issued controversial sentences. Wife was sentenced to 2 years, accessory to mother. Mother-in-law was sentenced to 10 years for mother. Sister-in-law was sentenced to 10 years for mother. Dr. Johnson was sentenced to 2 years for falsifying medical records. Father Ekang was sentenced 4 years for falsifying record. Father Mbeke, despite being central to the plot, was never charged. The state government has since indicated plans to appeal the judgment. Legal observers and human rights advocates have described the sentences as disturbingly light. This was premeditated murder with evidence tampering and institutional collusion, one lawyer told reporters. These are not the sentences that justice demands. I mean, this particular report is filled with lots of pain when you look at it. This is someone's son. This is someone's father, because they did have 2 children together. I mean, and it brings the broader question: when do the lies end in marriages? What are your thoughts on this report?
I think it's a travesty of justice. This is one report that raises more questions than answers.
Exactly.
Now, for people who want to get married, you probably have a child. It goes for the man or woman. There are some things you can't wish away in life. If you have had a child or children from previous relationship, you can't wish that child away.
All right.
And I think it's important that you factor in the well-being of that child or children in whatever you want to do, not just in relationship. But relationship becomes important because it involves another person. So that person, I mean, it's sort of a commitment the two of you want to make to live together. So I think it's important that as much as possible, the other party knows all the truth about your past, because some surprises may not.
What do you think the reason, or why did her parents lie about this child?
It's not just her parents. I'm not even concerned about her parents now, because for this case of the lie against her, it's not even the parents now, but I think she's the primary person getting involved in a relationship. Now the question you ask of, you see, these things, like I would always say, are questions of justice and injustice, doing to others as you want them to do to you. Now, would you want me to lie to you about me? Would you want to be married to me, then 2 days later, 2 years later, whatever, a child appears that wasn't in the picture before, that I've had this child even before?
But the child was in the picture full time with them.
No, but not as a child, as a brother.
Right.
And to me, it's even unfair to the young child. How can I be living with my mother as her brother? It doesn't make sense. So if you have had a child from a previous relationship, whether you're a man or a woman, you can't wish away that child. So as long as that child still lives, whatever relationship you are getting into, be bold to let that person know that I have been involved in previous relationship. I mean, that person wasn't probably expecting you to have fallen off the sky. So I was involved in previous relationship. This previous relationship resulted to a child.
Do you think that was hidden because the child belonged to a priest more than it was hidden because she had a child?
Now, you see, the point is, for the guy getting married to a lady, he may not be much concerned about who the father of that child is, whether the father of that child is a priest or a native doctor, and as far as that father would have minimal role to play in their life. So I think his concern should be, you have a child, where is this child now? Okay, this is this child. For me, even if that child is not presently with you and will never ever be with you, you can't wish away the possibility of sometime in the future this child, tracing showing up. And I don't want to look at you as you don't want an unpleasant surprise. One day a child appears that, oh, this is my child I had and I've never mentioned it to you before. So why do you think it will be okay with these people? So whether the father is a priest or not is not the issue. The issue is that the guy who was getting married, who is unfortunately dead now, should have known that the person I'm getting married to had a child before. There are people who have remarried even after they had 3-4 children. I mean, things happen.
Right.
People are not different. So if Mr. A will not be comfortable with you because you have a child, like I said, you can't wish that child away. Be bold to let him go. And whoever will come. But this has become part of your life. Then to the bigger issue, the travesty of justice.
Right.
I don't understand how the judge, for all we know, even without being a legal professional, for all we know, 10 years imprisonment is not the sentence for...
They said due to age, and the sister had children.
No, that is not... She would have probably given them life imprisonment, let them be there. I mean, I think, like the group said, there's a need to revisit the judgment. There's a need to appeal it. Good thing, this is not the final court, so there is still room for appealing. Then for the medical personnel involved, for forging a death certificate, that can be 2 years. I mean, from what you have seen in other clients, people have committed lesser offenses and they lost their right to practice.
Right.
So this should even make, if the man can forge a death certificate, what other document can he forge that would, put society in a terrible state? So such people shouldn't even have the right to practice. Practicing I mean, I can't subject myself for treatment to a person that I know can forge a death certificate. It raises more questions than answers.
Let's talk about religion. We had 2 current and active priests mentioned in this particular report. As a Christian, you'd agree with me. You're a Christian, like I am. It's usually said that it's a religion of peace, a religion of love. What would Jesus have done or said to these people if he were here to actually read through this report?
Well, let us not say what would Jesus have done if he were here, because that would suggest that he probably is not here.
I mean, in flesh, in human flesh.
I am convinced he is here, but maybe he's
but
not.
But he can't respond in the spirit. So I mean,
to speak yet. But the thing is this: even for Catholic priesthood, if you have made up, it's just like what I said about the institutions, if you have read the terms and conditions and you agree to go in, then do as much as you can to keep to it. So if you have signed off for a life of celibacy,
you have no business having a child.
You have no business, not just having a child, you have no business getting involved in a romantic relationship.
And in the first place, she was young when she actually, got involved with the...
But she knew she was a priest. She probably was a Catholic also. So that is not, her age has nothing to do with it. She wasn't an underage. She wasn't an underage. She was an adult, no matter how young she was. But the thing is that, like, to your question, what would I say? It's shameful that this would come from, people that society holds in reverence. So, which is why I think that, the case has a broader perspective that should be looked into. As much as I call on the NMA on the case of the doctor to look into the case of that doctor, will probably have him lose his license, the government and all that. I think the church also, in this case the Catholic Church, the diocese which he works in, but I mean, they should get involved. Such kind of persons have no business. I mean, if it was a mistake that you were in a relationship sometime
how do you get into such mistakes
in the past, but that he was involved in the death of this guy, shows obviously that a relationship is still ongoing. I mean, it seems more like a complicated crime of passion.
Right.
Probably the priest is even, I'm not sure, maybe he's even jealous of this guy coming to share his wife or his woman that he can never have a relationship with, that would be in public domain. I mean, the relationship would be secret forever, but he signed up for it. He should have just accepted what he signed up for, but it's unfortunate that this is coming from a place like this.